Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Covenant Army Marriage Podcast. You're back here with Brent and Lucy, and we're so excited to have you with us here today. Remember, like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. Guys, we can't do this alone. Come alongside us to help us spread this message.
Yeah, and leave some comments. Let us know if you have some topics that we have not covered that you would like for us to cover.
Absolutely. So, baby doll, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm thinking ahead, thinking about Thanksgiving, thinking about food.
Thinking about eating?
I was thinking about Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is nice.
That's like over a week away. You gonna be okay with that?
Yeah.
You gonna make it?
Mm-hmm.
What's the thing you're looking forward to the most?
The food.
I know food, but like
the
what
food,
kind?
Getting together with everyone, playing some games, just having a good time with the family. You know, you don't have gatherings like that all the time, so it's kind of nice to look forward to. And hopefully everyone will come play nice and get along.
So what type of food, like what's the one food that you're really looking forward to eating this year?
I don't know if there's like one food that I'm really looking forward to.
You don't have like a favorite, like a Thanksgiving tradition, favorite type of food?
No.
Nothing.
No, just, all the food.
Wow.
Just all the food.
All right. I guess
I don't know. I like to have people come together and just have lots of conversations, play games, just have a good time around food.
All right. If you don't have a favorite food, what's your favorite person you're looking forward to meeting this Thanksgiving?
Meeting?
Yeah. Like who are you looking to meet this Thanksgiving?
I'm not looking to meet anyone. It's just going to be the usual suspects.
Who's your favorite person that you're really looking forward to seeing on Thanksgiving?
Favorite person?
Well, you don't have favorite foods. I'm assuming you got a favorite person. No? You can't say on the podcast? I know who it is. I know who it is. And if you're wondering, guys.
You want me to say you, baby?
Wow. I hope I'm your favorite person.
Yes, you're my favorite person, but you're with me 24/7.
Are you thankful for me, though?
I'm super thankful for you.
All right.
It is great to be married to you.
You going to make me a nice plate on Thanksgiving?
Yes, baby. I'm going to portion control it, but you'll have...
Hold on a second, man. It's Thanksgiving. That's like the one day.
You do not need to like pig out on everything, though. Like we can have like there can be portion control.
What does that mean exactly?
It means that we don't have to like eat everything at once. I mean, we start early.
What do you mean eat everything at once?
We have Thanksgiving.
I have a full plate of food. I'm going to eat everything on that plate.
We have Thanksgiving lunch. Then we have some conversations, play some games, and then we have Thanksgiving dinner later. So we don't have to eat everything at once. We can portion control it.
So when you mean eat everything at once, you mean like consume all the food?
Yeah, like have piles of food.
Well, no.
I don't think that's necessary. I don't think we need to undo all the work that we do going to the gym every day of the week. We don't need to undo it in one night of Thanksgiving.
I can't eat like that anymore. I used to
That's good. That's a good thing. That is a good thing.
For who?
For all of us.
Well, no, because I used to be able to eat quite a bit, and I used to like overeat around Thanksgiving time. But to be honest, like I've just like lost the desire for like eating like that.
For gluttony?
Wow.
It's a sin, so I'm glad you've lost that desire.
Does gluttony, did they say that in the Bible? Like gluttony? Yeah. I know it's like the 7 deadly sins. I know gluttony is one of them.
Yeah.
That's in the Bible?
Pretty sure.
I don't know if it is.
Pretty sure.
Look it up. The 7 deadly sins.
That is a deadly sin.
I'm not saying, of course it's deadly because you eat yourself to death. That's not going to be good. You wonder if that's why they made Thanksgiving that way with so much food. Everybody really overconsumes and gorges himself out. Is that to kill us?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like really take us out. That's like suicide almost. Not that I'm not making fun of suicide, but like overeating yourself and like to the point that you can barely move. I used to do that. I used to eat so much that I would get nauseous. It is terrible, but it was almost like the one time a year that you had
so Proverbs 23:20 through 21 warns against overindulgence, saying that gluttons and drunkards will come to poverty.
Okay. I guess that's there then.
Yes.
What translation is that?
I don't know what translation that is.
Okay, it doesn't matter.
But all right, so it's in there.
Gluttony's in the Bible, guys. You're out.
And the Bible talks about greed too.
Greed? I'm not greedy. We all eat together.
If you are overeating, there is greed.
You don't have to scream.
I'm just saying.
You need to be up on a pulpit now screaming at everybody. Demon, get out! Holy smokes, man.
Anyway.
So I guess you're not going to eat at all then on Thanksgiving.
No. Nobody said I wasn't going to eat. Clearly, I'm looking forward to it as well.
Portion control, though?
Yes, absolutely.
Who's going to control that? Hey, when it comes between you and food, it's dangerous. I mean, you are literally like a lioness trying to guard her cubs when it comes to that plate.
Portion controlled. Always. Plus,
Well,
I know there's plenty of food all day, so we don't have to eat it all
I agree.
in one sitting.
I agree. It sounds good to me.
So I'm glad you said it here. We have witnesses.
What's that?
That you agree that
what?
being portion controlled is a good thing.
I never said portion control. You said portion control.
You just agreed with me.
I just said I don't eat like I used to. I don't need anybody looking at my plate when I'm eating. That's like the worst of worst. People, do you feel like people judge you when you go up to the little thing to start putting food on your plate?
I'm going to judge you. If you are up there filling up your plate way too much,
you be judged. Well, the same measure that you judge will be the same measure that you get.
That's fine because my measure is going to be a lot smaller. So it's fine.
Oh, man, that's it.
It is fine.
Okay, then. All right, it's coming.
Anyway.
I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to post it.
In other news, we're going to talk about something we saw on the news this morning.
Yeah.
At the gym, because all of our wonderful content comes from our time spent at the gym in the morning.
You would think we lived at the gym as much as we talk about it.
We go every day. So they've got 10, 15 screens up. Yeah. All of them are on different news channels, which I don't believe everything that I see. But this one, I think it's probably pretty accurate.
Okay.
Which is the U.S. birth rate.
Okay.
It's like 1.67. It's like, first of all, where do you get the 0.67? Like, you either have one kids or two.
I don't know how they figure that
so
one out.
I don't understand the 0.67, whatever. I'm sure it's some kind of average, whatever.
Well, yeah.
But after being shocked, then I was sad. Because then I think about our kids getting married and, having kids, because our kids have talked about having kids and some of them have kids already, which is awesome. But then you think about this 1.67 and it says it's at an all-time low.
Mm-hmm.
The lowest since 1968 or something crazy like that. But anyway, this is crazy. Why is this happening?
Well, I guess it's important to know it's there's been a decline. Since 1968, there's been a decline in people having children. So in essence, people are having a lot less kids right now, right? I remember my family, my grandparents and so on. My mom was one of 12 kids. So she had a lot of siblings.
My dad was one of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On my dad's side, they had 7. I mean, so people were definitely having more kids back in the day. And that was around the 1940s, 1950s, somewhere in there.
So they were definitely abiding by God's command of
go forth and multiply.
Be fruitful and multiply.
Go for it.
They knew it and they were doing it.
Yeah.
And now,
hey, they were doing it. A lot more kids.
We're having a lot more kids.
Yeah.
But now, not so much. And I have a sneaky suspicion that it's all also happening through
it's happening around the world.
Well, around the world, yeah, because they had other nations with similar birth rates.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. But we have seen different TikToks and videos and other articles on just this generation now not wanting to have kids. They want to do careers and make money and go traveling and buy all the fancy, expensive stuff.
Well, there's definitely been a shift and more focus on me.
Self. Yeah.
Yeah, on self and doing what makes you happy and nothing holding you back and achieving all your goals and all your dreams. But when did having a family stop being part of the American dream? When did that stop being something to strive for and to desire? To have a husband or a wife and to have a family.
Well, and to be fair, the economy hasn't exactly been,
you know what?
Favorable for people to actually want to increase in number.
I know you say that, but one of the things I was reading everybody says, oh, it's because of the economy. That's not really the highest indicator of why people are having kids. I was surprised about that.
Well, I don't think that's the highest indicator. I think selfishness is the highest indicator, but not just because you were born like that. I think you were taught that.
What do you mean?
Based on what? Okay, so let's just talk about 20-year-olds and on, right? That generation that's growing up with the social media and watching all the videos and all the trends. Mm-hmm. One of those trends is to not prioritize family and having kids, wait for that. And basically do you. Go make all the money as much as you can. Go travel. go do all the things.
Yeah.
Because kids will kind of get in the way.
Mm.
And that's really sad.
As you're talking there, it just makes me think that, we heard that term before, prolonged adolescence.
Mm-hmm.
In essence, where people aren't growing up and maturing and becoming adults.
You just want to play.
Well, if you think about still keeping that mindset where it's very selfish, I'm only going to do what makes me happy. I don't want to go through any discomforts.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to think about anybody else. Really, that's really when you don't want to have a kid because people have different reasons, but at the core of it, if you don't want to have a kid because you think it's going to be a hindrance, it's pretty selfish.
Yeah.
That's very childlike. If you
I think you got something right there on your
you have to
stash.
come over. This is going to look really awkward.
There you go.
It's just my stash. I got these little white.
It might have been a little white here. Just, but anyway.
No, I've lost exactly.
I knew you were going to lose your train.
Train just went way off the track. But yeah, it's very self-focused. You know what I mean? So it's like we're not really growing up to have that adult mindset. Because I remember growing up and I wanted to be a dad. I wanted to be a father. I wanted to have a family.
Yeah.
We're talking to our son today, and he's 13 going on 30.
Yeah.
He's talking about, hey, what age do you think I can get married?
Yeah. He really shocked me. He just came right out and asked that question.
Yeah. But why does it shock you? He doesn't stand a chance in this house because we eat, breathe, sleep, marriage and marriage content and talking about husbands and wives and family.
When he's always talked about wanting to be married and have a family. So that's
but why though?
Well, we taught him, he's seen that. He foundationally, we talk about the marriage and family being a priority. So he knows that, right?
Yes.
So at 13 years old, he's experiencing, some feelings for his little first 8th grade girlfriend. So he has a little school girlfriend. So I'm sure he's all in his thoughts about when would be a great age to get married.
To propose?
To get married.
Do we need to be watching out for this kid? Lock the doors, man?
This is I don't know, but I
hope not.
I like having the conversation with him because he's really wanting to know. He was really serious about what is a good age to get married.
He was very serious. When I walked in from, I was cooking out on the grill.
Yeah.
And I come in, you guys, I'm walking into this conversation. You guys are talking about the right age to get married. What's a good age?
Oh, we had a whole conversation before you came in. I loved it because he was really wanting to know.
Oh, no, it's great. It's great that he wants to know. I just walked into this. Well, that's an interesting conversation to have right before dinner.
It is. But
yeah.
Because he says he wants to get married young. So I asked him, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, early 20s. And I'm like, okay. So then he wanted to know parameters for that, good age.
Yeah.
What is he looking for? What should he wait for? Kind of thing. And so we were talking about all the things, but I think it's awesome because he's only 13 and he's already talking about marriage and family.
Yeah.
He really wants that. He has a desire for that.
I think God's put that in him, to be honest with you. Yes, we've talked about it. We show him, we train him, but I really think that desire.
Well, we did exactly what God told us to.
That's what I mean. I think God has put that desire in his heart to want to do that because our daughter is the same way. She wants to get married and have a family. So,
right.
One of our daughters.
So then, why aren't more families doing the same thing with their kids? Because let's be honest, if a lot more families were, the birth rate wouldn't be at 1.67.
Well, I guess it's about being intentional. I guess it's like anything in life. If you're not really focused on it and being really intentional, stuff just goes past. And I think, just because our culture, the way that it has talked about marriage and family over the last few years, in which we talk about this a lot in the podcast, there's an attack on marriages, there's an attack on families. People are getting married later in life now. It's not really focused on, getting set up, find that person, start your family. We got our own family, certain family members that when we tell them that our daughter, who's now 20, is thinking already about marriage.
She's almost 20. She's not 20 yet.
She's 20 in my mind.
She'll be 20 in a couple of weeks.
20 in my mind already.
A couple of weeks.
She's there, baby. You might want to get
She's almost there.
Hey, breathe. It's going to be okay.
The point is
she too was thinking about marriage, and she shared it with some of our family members, and they're like, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
You're too young. You need to go out and do you. That's the mindset of this world that's telling our kids, you don't need to focus on that right now. You need to focus on everything else. And I understand why they're saying that. because that's the way this culture has been shifting us to get us
Mm.
focused off of family and saying work is more important than anything. Like work, your career, that's what's most important. But that's not true. When you look at God's word, that's not the most important thing.
No.
You know what I mean? But people have bought the sauce,
Yeah.
So that's what we're combating.
Well, it just makes me sad for our children's children, because if we continue, like the birth rate continues to decline, are there even going to be enough people?
I think our children are going to do a great job of trying to repopulate the earth. I know our son is. Like our son is probably going to have
Because he wants to be
15
married.
kids.
He wants to be married young, and he wants kids. So yes,
He's been saying he's wanted kids since he was real little.
and we are deeply praying for his wife to be raised in a similar family, and that she wants all the kids that he might want.
I think we go back to arranged marriages with him. I think we need to find him an approved wife.
I think so too.
I think we can do
I
it.
think that'd be
I've
great.
got someone in mind that I wanted to pitch to you.
Yeah, me too.
Because and then maybe we can make it happen.
I think so. I think that would be great.
I think we can make it happen. He wouldn't even know what's happening. But we just kind of set it up, Makes me think, it's not, I know people think we're probably crazy, but it's the same thing God did, right? God literally brought Eve to Adam.
But she was literally the only woman there, so he didn't have much to choose from.
But the father brought the bride to the groom.
Yes, that's true.
That's all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I know we're kind of having a little fun here, but
I'm serious.
Parents need to be serious about how they're raising their kids and what they're training them up to think about. Because, I mean, when we have a 13-year-old boy that's already talking about that, like, not to be boastful, but I think we taught him what God has instructed us through his word to teach him, and it's taken root. Yeah. So I love that. I love that he's wanting to have those conversations. I don't know what's going to happen when he has his first heartbreak, but we'll deal with that when it happens.
That'd be great content for the podcast. I remember my first heartbreak. It was rough.
I think, and I think he's kind of one of those, dudes that I think falls really hard very fast with his little eighth grade girlfriend right now. So we got to watch out for that. However,
he's kind of like his daddy, falls hard and fast.
Apparently so. But no, I mean, I would hate to think about the future for our kids' to be a future just full of robots.
Oh.
And not human interaction. Like that people would be happy just living by themselves with all their money and a robot.
Is one robot going to do everything?
I don't know. I'm just like, you've seen some of the ads about the robots that are being built and the, some of the posts that are being put out there about robots that are being built to be friends and, they clean your house and they do all, I mean, that wouldn't be too bad. Have, a robot clean up your house. However, I'm thinking like way in the future, if the birth rate continues to decline, are there going to be people? Well, like, is this some kind of way to have population control in the world and people are just not seeing it, where they're constantly playing the same narrative about not having kids, enjoying your life, go travel, go make money? Like, is this like a way to control the population so they can better control the nation?
As I always say, it's a spiritual attack. It's a spiritual warfare that is going on because, right, we're supposed to be God's image here on earth, or we are God's image here on earth. So if we have less people, could be less of that image. I mean, overall. But again, I think it contradicts, like you said, biblically, when God gave us the command, be fruitful and multiply. Fill the earth. It literally says, fill the earth.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how do we do that? I mean, obviously ministering and spreading the gospel, spreading the good news, but it is in having families, godly families, and spreading those families out throughout the world.
Yeah. That's why I think it goes back to parents.
Well, it does. It does 100%. And I mean, I guess the real question that all of us can ask is if we're not, why? Like, if God's commanding it, why aren't we doing it? You know what I mean? Like, why aren't we training our kids and teaching our kids and showing our kids and walking alongside them to help them be successful in having families? Right?
I think if your mind is kind of more set on what the world is doing, what's in front of you every day, if you're one of those people that are, continuously on social media, seeing what's happening in the world through that lens of social media,
yeah,
and fake news, Like you're just going along with that.
It's like Trump there, fake news.
It
Fake
is.
news.
It is fake news.
I know, it's funny.
But I mean, that's a way of kind of training people's brains to think a certain type of way, and a lot of people just go along with it. It's kind of
Well,
like a new fashion. Like you put it out there enough, oh, I need to go get that because everybody's wearing that.
well, it makes me think of when you're talking about that. Obviously, um, the pastor was talking at church this weekend.
Mm.
You know, transforming and renewing your mind.
Yes.
Be transformed by the renewal of your mind, and it really is true. Like if you think about this whole topic of now we have gotten to the place where having a bunch of kids not good,
Mm.
right? Because that's what the world is telling us is what's been shoved down our throats through all different forms of media, news, culture.
Mm.
How do we combat that? Like if we go back to God's word and we see that he says, be fruitful and multiply. And to where it gets down to our core of being, that we believe God's word more than we believe what everything else is screaming at us. Like you have to be intentional by renewing your mind by being in God's word
Mm-hmm.
every single day.
Yeah.
Like it can't be just like on the Sunday where you go and the pastor gives you a little nugget.
And you're all full and you're all happy. And
Like that's not going to hold you
Yeah.
over for the entire week. That's not the way our relationship with God is supposed to be. It's supposed to be a daily relationship with God.
I think the tides are turning.
I believe so. I think there's a revival coming.
There's a revival coming. I think the tides are turning. I think we all need to be very intentional with how we're having conversations at the dinner table with our children.
Mhm.
Even the children that have maybe grown up and are in college or are married and they come back home, like talking to these kids about those core principles and core values.
I think it's like talk to any kids that are around you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I know we got teenagers and kids and stuff around us or within the family.
Right.
And that's when I say talk, that doesn't mean you have to like force your views down their throat. I think it's by modeling.
Mm-hmm.
Like for us, I want to show the circle of influence that God has put us in, what a godly, healthy, happy marriage is about. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
they can see, like, man, there is value there. I want that. I want to have a relationship like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about us. Like it's great that we hear that, but it is about God.
Mm.
So we can show them like God's ways are the best ways. God designed marriage and family, you know, and he wants you to have that type of family. He wants you to have that type of hope.
Yeah.
And encourage that. Like as we're having the conversations, like how we interact with each other, how we talk with each other.
Yeah.
You know, how we encourage our own kids. You know, there's so much we can do.
Mm.
You know, obviously, you know, we can't have any more kids, unfortunately. However, we can still be an impact to the people that are around us and to the kids that are around us. Because I know I learned this very late in life.
Yeah.
I didn't always think this way.
Right.
You know, I was selfish before where I wanted to do me and do my own thing.
Well, I think a lot of people when they're young, like even leaving your house for the first time as a young adult, you might get a taste of that, like, oh, I'm young and free and I can do. I mean, were you ever taught from a young age that you should grow up, get married, have family?
Taught?
Yeah.
I would have to say yes, but it wasn't. It was more like flippantly put out there. It was just kind of part of something you knew, but it wasn't like set down and instructed.
Okay.
So it was a little bit.
So it wasn't very like intentional instruction.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
I don't know. Because I mean, nowadays that you don't hear a lot of intentional training to that degree of like the marriage and family.
No,
you know,
not at all. I mean, they only do this stuff in school. Like you think about building up our society and helping our society to be good. I'm not talking about morally good. I'm just talking about like being good, healthy society. Why don't they teach these morals and standards? Like, could you imagine having a class on how to be married?
That'd
Like,
be awesome.
Why have they never ask yourself this question? Maybe they have, maybe I need to look this up. Maybe it was at some point, but like how to be a husband. We're going to have a class this semester for all the boys, how to be a husband and what a husband looks like.
Well, I think it should be a marriage class on both. Like,
well, that's where you, okay.
Like the stages, stages. We start with like the before you meet somebody, the dating/courtship,
Yep.
the premarital season, and then the marriage season, and then the having kids season. Like that could be a whole class split up in different segments. I think that would be awesome if they had that available.
Well, it makes me think like why that would be valuable. Because like even if, again, how things have changed over the years. When I was in school, we had like shop class where you could learn how to work with wood. You had metal class, you learned how to work with metal. You had auto class, where learn how to work on cars.
Well, home ec.
Well, they had home ec. I didn't take home ec.
Well, no. I know
That was
the
for the
boys back
girls.
then. It was
I mean, the only time a guy was in home ec because he was after a girl. That's when he took home ec class.
Gotcha.
That was the smart guys. But I was bullheaded and I wanted to learn how to work on cars and stuff. And I took the metal. I did wood. I did all that stuff. But it was teaching a skill.
So then I gotta wonder why you don't like to do projects.
What do you mean?
Like, build stuff.
I like to build certain things. If I like our little contraption here that I built here for our thing, like I built that. But I didn't take home ec, but I can do some home ec things now. I cook.
Oh, I know.
I clean.
I let you.
I sew.
Okay. We're gonna draw the line at the sewing. You do not sew. Well,
I can sew.
Maybe you can.
What do you mean
but
maybe?
I do the sewing.
I like it when you do the sewing, but if I have to sew, baby doll, I can sew.
I'm sure. Listen, I'm saying, I'm sure you can work it out.
We're gonna have a sewing off. Sew off?
Sure. Sure.
Know. Not with machine. I'm talking old school.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Needle and thimble. Thimble. That's it.
Thimble.
Country comes out, baby. We talk different back where I come.
Thimble.
The thimble.
Anyway, we digress.
Okay.
You started talking about all the classes in school, and then you went down like memory lane, and I'm trying to pull you back in.
It happens. The whole point is learning these skills. Like we don't have these classes in schools, so who is going to do it? It goes back to the parents. Like this is school 101, where yes, we have to teach them how to be
101. Yeah, you mean the home?
No, it's school. Like we're teaching our kids.
At home.
Homeschool.
That's what I mean.
Homeschool.
I mean, that's what I'm talking about.
Homeschool. Now you made me again. You got to stop bringing me off the course. I'm lost all over again. The point is, as parents, we're the ones that need to teach these kids.
Just
right. As a dad, I'm teaching my son how to be a man, how to be a husband, how to be a father. Right. That's what I am. And you're showing him what a wife is supposed to look like, what a mom's supposed to look like.
Yes.
Like that's the training, but just not modeling it, but actually teaching.
And we're not telling, like, obviously we talk about our son-in-law because he's the last one left.
He's our last
out of all
hope.
the kids.
You are the last hope will be one.
But we are not doing that whole thing. Well, no, you don't want to get married.
No,
you don't want to, like, you want to go out and play and do your, like, if we were doing that, I'm sure the thoughts of marriage and having a family would be far, far thought from his mind.
Well, but I believe, and I think it aligns with God's word, marriage is close to God's heart. So we have decided that we're going to be really intentional with it. The last thing I want is to send any kid out into this world being ill-equipped. I want him to have the best chances of having a successful marriage, successful family, to raise kids and to train them up.
Yeah.
So they can go forth to extend God's kingdom all around this earth. Right?
I'm sure there's a revival happening. I'm sure we're going to see a turning of the tides. And prayerfully, next year, when they run the numbers again, it's at least up 2 kids.
two kids?
Not 1.67. I want to see like a full 2.
So y'all better get busy.
We need more babies in this world.